What's going on, everyone? So yesterday, a report came out where Dave McMillan going over kind of JJ Redick's philosophies with the Los Angeles Lakers and the non-negotiables that this team, kind of the mantra that this team is living by. And I thought it was very important. And I wanted to kind of talk about it, especially with the Lakers handling business yesterday, being 7-4 on the season. Again, according to Dave McMillan, these are the non-negotiables. Playing for the same common goal. Expecting elite execution night to night, no matter who is in or out of the lineup. Being efficient in everything, from shot selection for the players to time management from the coaches. Dominating the details, whether it's the angle a screen is set on offense or the timing of blitzing a pick and roll on defense. These were our non-negotiables. A Lakers source told ESPN, come hell or high water, we will go back to this as a team. Again, JJ Redick is really done a fantastic job, in my opinion, thus far through the first 11 games. Lakers are 7-4. He's been able to really get this team focused, bought in. Effort is still a bit of an issue. I really kind of fault the players for that, right? Like, again, I even defended Darvin Ham last year in this sense. I don't care how good of a head coach somebody is. The players are the ones that still have to play the game. A coach can only micromanage so much. And it's not like we're this super deep, we have 12 guys that can give you 20 on any given night type team. We're not. So when guys aren't showing up and doing what they're supposed to be doing and aren't playing to the level that they need to be played, JJ Redick doesn't have, Austin Reeves doesn't have it tonight. I'm just going to sit him and play Gabe Vincent because Gabe Vincent's going to be able to pick up the slack. No, Gabe Vincent's been atrocious, right? Like, the Lakers are incredibly limited. This roster isn't good enough. And, again, guys lack effort. We don't have real two-way guys. You have redundancies all over the basketball court. You've had a lot of issues. And yet JJ Redick has been able to figure out a lot of things. Right? I see a lot of people that are like, Darvin Ham, you're just going to criticize JJ Redick. And Darvin Ham, he had the same players and stuff. But you see the differences. You see what JJ Redick is capable of doing as a head coach compared to Darvin Ham. It wasn't, nobody thought Darvin Ham had this, superstar-studded, unbelievable roster. And in a lot of ways, Darvin Ham did have some real success. But it was everything else. He wasn't a good coach, right? It's not like all of a sudden people are like, oh, JJ Redick has this superstar stuff. No, everyone was aware, or at least, people with sense were aware that hey, guys aren't playing the way that they need to play. D'Lo and Reeves are not working the way we need it to work, right? Rui Hachimura is out of position. No, it was all the other things. It was the lack of play calling. It was the lack of timeouts. It was the lack of preparation. It was the lack of execution. It was the lack of in-game adjustments. It was the lack of getting players to buy in. It was the lack of properly utilizing your players. I mean, how many times did we see Spencer Dinwiddie and it's just not learning from your mistakes? The list goes on and on with the things that are issues with Darvin Ham. We've seen JJ Redick completely abandon game plans and go a completely different route and have success. We've seen JJ Redick do different things out there. We've seen JJ Redick make the adjustments. He also has these guys buying in and believing. I'd say what you want about D'Angelo Russell. He's at least buying in to that sixth man role. Now, I see people that are like, oh, yeah, but he's on a contract here. He really doesn't have a choice. I mean, he could still be pouting. He could still be throwing tantrums. I mean, he did it for Darvin Ham, right? He's still taking shots at Darvin Ham. Right? Whatever JJ Redick's been able to do, he's gotten D'Lo to buy in. That warrants credit to D'Angelo Russell, warrants credit to JJ Redick. And look, things weren't working. JJ Redick had a plan. D'Lo, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Plan was in place. And unfortunately, The plan wasn't going the way that we needed it to go. So what does JJ do? He makes the adjustment. And the Lakers are 3-0 since that adjustment. All right? And I believe if things start going a little south again, guess what? He'll make another adjustment and another adjustment. I mean, hopefully, at some point this season, we actually put together a roster that's good enough to win a championship. Hopefully, at some point, we end up pulling off a trade to where, let's see what JJ can do with a roster that just makes more sense. JJ Redick he's just been better, right? There's clear differences between JJ Redick and Darvin Ham. And, I mean, even just the way he talks about the media and the address, he's taking responsibility. He's also thrown players under the not under the bus, but, they've called out players and talked about, like Gabe Vincent, like you're playing 18 minutes and not, like, I don't really look at that as throwing it on the bus. I know some people do. I don't. Right? Like, players aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, call them out. Right? Like, Phil Jackson was notorious for just throwing players under the bus. Right? Get these guys bought in, right? Whatever JJ is doing, he's doing it right. He's found ways. And look, I talked about it, right? LeBron James and Anthony Davis, those two are so key to buying in. JJ Redick has Anthony Davis playing at an MVP level season, literally playing like, if he continues to play the way he's been playing, he's going to be MVP. It's been ridiculous. Right? And JJ Redick, like even simple things like that. How many times did we see Anthony Davis have like 30 through 3 quarters and then just not even touch the basketball in the fourth? Right? Like seriously. When have we seen, how many times did we see that last year? It was a regular. And Darvin Ham, every time we'd be like, oh, he has a stupid coach that doesn't know how to do it. Like, that's not what I want to hear. I mean, how many times do I have to listen to you tell me you're going to fix it and change it and get Anthony Davis the ball more before I finally just think you're a liar? Like, it was like every time it was like, oh yeah, I need to do a better job of getting it. But he never did it. He never made the adjustments. He never made the correction. And that's the problem. Even last night's game, Anthony Davis was struggling, having a rough game. He had like 9 points or whatever, right? And then all of a sudden, he came alive in the fourth. And you still stuck with him, even through a bad night. Even through his struggles. You gave AD the ball, and guess what? Hit 2 huge threes, huge mid-range, right? Was hitting shots all over the floor. Came alive in that fourth quarter when we needed him. If this was Darvin Ham, Anthony Davis would have finished that game with 9 points. And instead, Anthony Davis ended up finishing with, 21? Right? Like, that wouldn't have happened under Darvin Ham. We saw it. We saw it for 2 straight years, right? Like, how much more are we supposed to see it, right? Like, JJ Redick has real ideas, philosophies. He's an open book. He's willing to change and make adjustments. We've seen him make in-game adjustments. We've seen him make in-game changes. We've seen him adapt. You didn't see very much of that with Darvin Ham. Look at the Denver series. It's a great example. The Lakers were up by double digits every game. Lakers were winning at halftime every game. Literally. If the game was over at halftime, the Lakers would have swept Denver. But both teams went into their respective locker rooms. One team came out and made adjustments. The other team didn't. You don't lose the same way 4 straight times. The same way. It's not like, you lost 4 different ways. It's not like Denver was so much better than you that they just ran through you. No, literally, the Lakers lost the exact same way. Exact same way. The 8 straight times, really, because they got swept the previous year and then last year, right? Like, so really it was 8 straight times. But at least the Lakers had a lead in every game in the second time. That's coaching or lack thereof. That is Darvin Ham having no idea how to make adjustments and change, and instead would rather just talk about his players, or a player, D'Lo specifically, rather than like realizing that, hey, you had a double-digit lead in 4 out of 5 games and blew it in the second half every single time. It was an issue that you had the entire season. Half to half inconsistencies. Lakers one half would be great, other half would be bad. Then it was the first half they were bad, second half they were good. You never fixed or corrected and made the adjustments, right? Like playing Taurean Prince 40 minutes and all. It just the list goes on and on of just the issues that Darvin Ham. I mean, Darvin Ham went to Milwaukee. Milwaukee's the worst team in the NBA, and they have Giannis and Dame. It's not. I don't think that that's a coincidence. I mean, it doesn't help that his other coach or head coach is Doc Rivers, who's probably the only coach that's worse than he is. But the point is that, JJ has these guys believing, right? He's done a great job of getting Reeves and maximizing. Reeves just can't be consistent, right? If Reeves could find consistency, but I love how JJ Redick has kind of maximized Reeves. Having him stay in attack mode, having him not settle, right? Putting him in positions to kind of maximize his strengths. But Austin Reeves he's having his struggles finding any level of consistency, right? This team as a whole, though, again, everyone's bought in, everyone's focused, everyone's believing. I mean, JJ Redick pulled LeBron aside twice last game, and LeBron just sat there and listened. He never would have done that for Darvin Ham. You kidding me? Darvin Ham, I don't know who you're trying to coach here, buddy. Sit down, pal. Right? You can see the difference between this JJ Redick team and look at the quality wins. I mean, look, they've had some close calls. I mean, that Memphis game was, but they have some very good wins. And you've seen what this team can be with JJ Redick. And that's even with the current team and the roster and the struggles that this team has. I really like where the Lakers are at. I'm really comfortable. If you're a Laker fan, you got to be feeling good. Because one, Lakers, again, are 7-4 on the season. So not only are they 7-4 on the season, but they're winning, which means they can stay patient. They are, as of right now, a legit playoff team. They're only a game back of being the 3 seed. So they're right there. Right? They're still in the hunt. Up until they might not lose a game until they play Orlando. And even Orlando, you can make an argument that they should win. I mean, seriously, right? You have coming up, you have the Spurs next, who Wemby just gave you a 50 piece, so that'll be interesting. But then you have the Pelicans, who are missing 4 out of their 5 starters and just lost Jose Alvarado. Then you got the Jazz, who are the worst team in the NBA. Literally, Spurs, Pelicans, and Jazz are up next. You should win all 3 of those games. And if you win all 3 of those games, guess what? You're 10-4 heading into the Orlando game and a tougher stretch in the back half of the season. So you should feel good. You should feel confident. Lakers should be, 9-5 at worst, but really 10-4. And then they have ways to pull off trades and be patient, right? Lakers aren't that far off. I'm telling you, Lakers are 2 solid moves from being a real championship contender, right? Again, don't underestimate the value of a quality move or two. I mean, look at Dallas last year. So anyway, as always, this is a discussion and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you make of JJ Redick? How do you feel thus far? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.